Get into the world of celebrities and Bravo Labs with What the Reality with me, Cache Roberts. I discuss the mess of it all, from reality TV, Hey Housewives, to iconic pop culture moments in the making. We are talking about it all. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Welcome to the pod. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cache Roberts. We are on Toxic, but it is Tuesday. Toxic, but it's Tuesdays. Still playing with it, even though I do like the name. How are you guys? This is, of course, your Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. We have stuff to talk about. We got to talk about that jab. If this wasn't my Tuesday episode, it would literally be called what Phaedra was saying. The jab is jabbing. I just had to bring my vanity down. Okay. My chair down. Yes. Welcome to the pod. Let's get right into it because I also want to talk about Bravo's Love Hotel. I'm not shocked with what happened. I didn't get a chance to watch What Happens Live, but I know Joel was on there. I like Joel. A lot of people don't like him because he came from for their queen, Shannon. I think Shannon's a little twisted in the head, but we'll get into that. I like Joel. I don't know if the hosting gig was right for him, but I don't know his previous work, so I thought it was fine. Let's get into these reality topics before we get into this Bravo Love Hotel and, of course, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Starting off, let's get into some... It's toxic. Who is being toxic today? Lala Kent. Of course she's being toxic. I am looking for her social media posts because I'm literally disgusted and disturbed. Lala Kent is being disgusting and toxic on this Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everyone, including Jeremiah from Love Island. So Lala Kent and I always feel like when people make posts about themselves on these holidays like Mother's Day, Father's Day, when it's like Happy Father's Day to me, Happy Mother's Day to me, when it's not your kid or your husband doing it or your sibling doing it, like Happy Father's Day to Lala, like her brother Easton. Like, it would have read even better if Easton did this, like a tribute to his sister that has taken on the mother and the father role. The fact that, sorry for the lighting's going to be coming in and out. The fact that Lala took her giant long thumbnails and tweeted this up or Instagrammed it saying Happy Father's Day to me. No, but really Happy Father's Day to my sweet dad. Okay. And then she was like, today I am also grateful for Easton. I cannot wait for him to have his own kids one day. They will certainly be lucky to have him. And shout out to the dude who gave me one of my 2 greatest blessings. He will never know, but whoever he is, thank you. Happy Father's Day to anyone who is stepping up as a dad, whether you are your kids or whether they are your kids or not. Today belongs to you. So Lala is currently facing backlash because, and I've talked about this. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast. I've never talked about VPR in here. But her obsession with having a kid her own way, cool, got it. Her obsession, though, having another daughter to compare to Ocean. I don't remember the daughter's name. It was an interesting name, though. But it seems as though she had this daughter out of spite for her situation with Randall. And that's just me keeping it 100. I think Lala is a narcissist, manipulative, and definitely definitive. Did I say narcissist? Lala, she's not a good person. I think she's let the fame get to her head. But for you to get up here on Father's Day and make a post shouting out the guy that gave you your one of 2 blessings, which you make it pretty clear every chance we get. It's like, we get it. It was a sperm donor. We get it. You were blessed to have this daughter that's literally yours. That's just one part of it. The other part of it is that it looks like the people are saying she only included pictures of her one daughter. from the sperm donor. I don't know. So it was just a very selfish, strange post. It was just kind of like, thanks so much to the sperm donor. They gave me one of my 2 greatest blessings. Like, thanks so much for him. What about thanks? I mean, you don't even have to thank Randall. For her to put that in, she is creating a hostile family environment for Ocean growing up. Ocean's always going to be compared in contrast to her sister that has a sperm donor as a dad. She's always going to be literally compared to, because that's what Lala does. It's kind of like she's feeding into this, it's going to be a sibling rival. And I don't think Lala clocks what's going on, because she's so thirsty to prove to everyone that she's doing it on her own. She got it on her own. She made it out on her own. When you're the one that made the decision to sleep with Randall, and then all of a sudden now you like black men. Oh, I'm so glad VPR is over. I just think Lala is so full of it. She's so selfish. So let's see what the comments are saying. Someone said, when you leave out your other daughter, like, this has to be petty to the father. Or someone said, this has to be the most selfish post I've ever seen. Someone said, when you leave out your daughter, like, this has to be petty to the father. You absolutely will affect her. My mom pulled the same crap. She will end up feeling less than her sister because of her DNA and her connection to the man you hate. And that's literally, but Lala decided to lay down with this man to secure a bag. There's no bag to secure. He don't got that much money. And she was screwed over. She thought she was hitting the jackpot with this movie producer. Let's see what else people are saying about Lala. I just think it's so weird that she keeps pulling this whole, like, comparing her daughter's crap. Someone said, very strange post. You leave Ocean out of the post because she has a dad. Why would you post your brother? So she did not post Ocean. She leaves Ocean out to include her hate for Randall. Then someone said, what about Randall? I believe you thanked a sperm donor, but not the man you gave. The man that gave you Ocean to make you a mom. You thank your brother, and of course you thank yourself. I'm beginning to hate the Valley anymore. But if they make you a full-time member, it will be the last time I watch it. I realized after watching you for about 8 years, you have not changed at all. It's a very weird post to make. And then it's like, so I'm assuming, so they're saying she didn't even include freaking Ocean. And I'm just like, why would you do that? That is so feeding into sibling rivalry. And I just feel bad for Ocean the most out of this, because she's just out here existing and living. And her mom is secretly not liking her. Her mom secretly hates her. That's what happens a lot with bitter women in these relationships that go wrong. They end up taking it out on the kid. And I think Lala is taking it out on Ocean unwillingly. I don't think she's doing it intentionally, but she looks at her comments. Lala looks at her comments. So surely you've seen enough comments where people are like, you know, you're going about this the wrong way. You're kind of like saying screw Ocean along with Randall because you're so upset and obsessed with him to this day. But that's who's giving toxic today. Let's get into Paige DeSorbo. Paige DeSorbo was also on Love Island USA. I don't really recap Love Island USA because that's like my one reality show I just want to like tweet about secretly and revel in. Like, if something really big happened, like that recoupling, maybe I'll talk about it, but I'm not even going to talk about that because I don't want to talk about Love Island on here. So Paige DeSorbo was on Love Island. I clocked her same outfit was from the Summer House after show. Unless she had to leave Summer House in New York City filming to go to Fiji, there is no reason Paige should have been in the same outfit as a fashion girl on period. There is no way she should have been in that same distinct dress, and there's no way she should have been a suede dress in freaking Fiji, where it's like 1,000 degrees. I know she was hot, and people were saying the episode was choppy anyway, but apparently they had to refilm it because I think Hannah got injured, hence the bandage. Either way, Paige is being delusional because, so I'm not going to give her my toxic. I'm going to give her my delusional award. Paige has dropped these Daphne pajamas that are $200. The top is 110. Let me go to Reddit. I think the pants are like 110 and the top's like 200. The top in order, the order in shirt, 110. The golden hour pant, 120. So they don't even match. The names don't even match. So Paige said her sets they're not over $200. These are the pajamas in question. So Daphne, PJs. I don't know if this is her new line. Dang. So someone on TikTok literally... I didn't even see this. Okay, so we got to rewind. So Paige has a pajama line, Daphne's Pajamas. Obviously, that's the name of her cat that she's obsessed with. She's a cat woman now. And the pajamas are expensive and ugly looking, to say the least. They're basic pajamas. So a TikToker said how she was very underwhelmed with it and how expensive they are. And Paige commented, I'm going to definitely put this on the screen. She said, I'm so sorry you were underwhelmed. They are not $200. They are also not from Alibaba. So I guess the girl then said her pajamas were from Alibaba in my Whitney Rose voice. Daphne is original designs and 100% cotton. Sorry that you didn't want to order. Yikes. Clocked her. So the TikTok is referring to the sets being $200 together. Paige is saying nothing's over $200. Girl, in what economy in your audience, the Giggly Squad, Summer House, is someone dropping? Why would you just want a pajama top? I mean, maybe a bottom, but people are gonna buy the sets. The sets together is over $200. So, I am an investigative journalist, as Porsha Williams is. And I got up my Skims app because I do love some Skims. I'm like, let me see how much Kim Kardashian's sets are. Let's see if this is in the realm. Because, people will pay for Kim Kardashian stuff. So wait, let me get it up. Because I'm pretty sure, not to my shock, it was a lot less cheaper. Let's go to the sleep edit. So Kim Kardashian's, her straight leg cotton classic pant is $58. And a set, an oversized sleep set, is $130. Which is literally half them Pages. Because when you add up 120 plus 110, what are you getting? 330 divided by 2. Kim Kardashian's Skims sets are less expensive than Paige DeSorbo's. Kim Kardashian pajama sets, Skims, is less expensive than Daphne's pajamas. Paige, you get my Delulu award. And for the people that are ordering, go get you some Skims. Why the heck are you ordering $200+ pajama sets? I wouldn't even buy Skims pajama sets unless it was my wedding night and I want oh my gosh, these most angelic pajama sets, or it's something you really splurge on in the moment. I'm not spending $200 for stuff I'm sleeping in, though. I'm not even spending $100. Come on, you catch me at Pink with some shorts and a nice little graphic tee. That's what I sleep in. But I'm just saying, it is very shocking to me that people are even buying it. So who's more delusional? Y'all for buying it, or Paige for putting this information out here? I would not even purchase that. I would not purchase that. That is ridiculous to me that she is selling it, first of all, individual at that price. That is ridiculous to me. But that's that. Speaking of Summer House, Bailey from Summer House, who was cut from the show because I guess she was talking crap about everyone, is engaged to the man I'm assuming she was talking about on the show, but we didn't really get a follow up with that because she was cut so early. And I have to bring up something else. And yes, I saw Sierra Miller commented, like, telling her, like, congratulations. So I feel like they're all on good terms with her, but production apparently just, like, dislikes her. That's the real tea. Let's get into Porsha, because we're about to get into Atlanta recap and little Bravo Love Hotel recap. Porsha has got to be one of the not smart people I've ever encountered. So Porsha traded in her Bravo check and her Dish Nation check for $30K a month from Simon. And the gag is, you guys are probably like, $30K a month from a man? Oh my gosh, sign me up. I mean, sign me up. But that was in exchange for her dropping her jobs that were allegedly paying her. She was getting paid on Atlanta at least $2 million an episode. Or not $2 million. It was $2 million a season. So let's get into this article. I'm looking at Reality Blurb. I'm going to just read a little bit of it. It says, Porsha Williams' Bravo salary was revealed during a court hearing last week pertaining to her divorce from Simon Guobadia. Simon's attorney shared that he began paying Porsha $30,000 per month after they began dating in spring 2021. The lawyer also stated that Porsha, 43, left her jobs with Real Housewives of Atlanta and Dish Nation around September 2021, which led to quite the reaction from fans. Quote unquote, during this time, Mr. Guobadia was actually giving his girlfriend about $30K a month just off the strength of being his girlfriend. And also during that time, Mr. Guobadia took that into consideration that since she had left her employment with Dish Nation and also with Real Housewives of Atlanta, two of her primary sources of income, that he agreed to pay his girlfriend $30K via a clip share, yada, yada, yada. Although there were no formal agreement made between them in regard to the $30,000, the attorney noted that Simon wanted to ensure Porsha would, quote unquote, have some sort of financial means to take care of her day-to-day needs. It also states that Porsha's lack of employment and the lack of her $1.6 million to $2 million salary with Bravo played a role in the prenuptial discussions. So if you're making like 1.6 million to 2 million a season, you're filming for 3 months, maybe. I think it's maybe 3 to 4. It depends. I think it's 3. You're making 2 million right there. You meet this guy and he's paying you $30K a month. $30K times 3. Guys, we are in our investigative journalism bag today because I gotta figure this stuff out. 30 times 3, 90K. So that man has given you 90K in a span of 3 months, and you would have made 1.6 to 2 million filming every episode you appear on, including the reunion, which I think should be additional. I think it should be like a bonus if you show up for the reunion. Because I think as long as you appear in your episodes for the season, you're going to get paid. But I don't know, because Garcelle was like, I already got paid. Remember when she stormed off? She already had got paid from Bravo. But I think that's because she was in her third part. So I don't know. Is Britt getting paid for this? Either way, this man essentially offered you 90K for 3 months to leave your jobs, where you would have been making over 2 million because her money at Dish Nation. That alone, the 1.6 to 2 million, is with Bravo. That's why I said she's not smart. And you really thought this man was going to provide you a soft life? Girl, you was already providing your own soft life. All you had to do was just be a little more honest. She's not smart. She's not a smart person. Around December 2021, carrying on to 2022, the parties did both hire counsel. They began negotiating, and you'll find that during the negotiations, Mr. Guobadia replied upon the fact that Miss Williams was no longer earning the average 1.6 million to 2 million that she was earning from Real Housewives of Atlanta as a cast member, that she was no longer earning her money from Dish Nation. At another moment of the hearing via the Bravo Shade Room, Porsha revealed she had paid Simon's child support after he was detained by ICE because the moms was hitting him up. I paid his child support for his 2 sons and also paid maintenance for the house, so that's outside of utilities as well. I really got concerned being that Simon was still detained when it comes to his child support. I'm still married to him at the end of the day. And I really felt like it was unfortunate that they weren't getting any help. The mother had reached out to me, out to my assistant, and said she was concerned. When I spoke to her, she made me aware that it had not been paid, so I paid it. Another thing I wouldn't have done. Porsha, yeah. And people are just saying Porsha walked away from 1.6 to 2 million a year for this dude. That's why I'm like, you're not smart. You are not smart. I guess, but Mama Diane taught her that, right? You are not smart. You mean to tell me you're pocketing 1.6 million to 2 million from Bravo alone? We didn't even know what her Dish Nation was. I'm sure the Dish Nation was like 200, 300K. This man can't even give you that in 3 months, but because you want to live this soft life and prove to everyone you evolved, like you're a wife now, wife is the golden ticket in life, you walk away from $2 million for 90K in a soft life. And that soft life ain't even soft anymore, because what did that get you? I will keep saying it. Porsha, you are not smart. She's not the sharpest cookie. I mean, or what is it? The sharpest tool in the toolbox. Maybe I'm not smart. I don't know. That is beyond me, but thanks so much for listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. Let's get into this Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. We are on the final day of the Grenada trip. It was a good trip. I could have done another episode there. So the ladies are recovering from last night. So as you guys know, from the night before, Shamia really broke down because Shiloh is having issues back at home. And, I just had a smoothie and I'm like, she left Shiloh back at home because obviously she had this girls trip coming up. Shiloh is struggling. She was super sick. She's breaking down. Shamia, Britt is super concerned with her and trying to get their friendship back on track when that's not even what they're talking about at the moment. And all of the ladies just feed into Britt's BS, including Angela and Drew, which I live for this scene because Angela's like, so after that, the whole consoling, the ladies end up twerking on everyone. Like, they had a good kiki time after the kumbaya moment, after cameras went down. So Angela is joking with Drew about how, like, she made the mistake of looking at Drew during that whole thing to see her reaction, because Drew's face just read it all, and she's like, I can't take you serious. And Drew was saying how Britt is really the actor, and she's the one that needs the Emmy. The ladies also discussed, so there's an ongoing rift between Kelly and Britt. Is it about the glam? Is it about Kelly realizing she had an unnatural alliance to a loser? Is it about Britt not feeling supported or wanting a yes man? I say all of the three. All of the above. Apparently, we'll get into that because Phaedra dropped some major tea, which we all enjoyed that scene with Phaedra, Cynthia, and Shamia. That was a good scene. So Shamia is on the phone with her mom talking, and she's basically finding out that the nurse was just super negligent with Shiloh. And she finds out that the nurse was fully dressed, coat on, hat on, freezing while she was watching Shiloh, but Shiloh didn't even have like a blanket on and she was like freezing. It seemed really weird. I'm like, so is this nurse fired? Like, is this a normal nurse that you guys would have? Because it sounds very wild to me that this is going on. So then we get Phaedra, Porsha, and Cynthia chopping it up. And Phaedra was talking about, she did talk to Britt and about like her donation and about how like she comes off very like hostile to people. She got to make nice, be a little more friendly. And Phaedra jokes that the African starter kit is a Ferragamo, a Rolls Royce, and an AP. And it's just so funny because freaking Cynthia did not know what that meant, the AP. And they're like, Portia's like, dancing diamonds or diamonds dancing? Because I am an investigative journalist. Who has a song called Diamonds Dancing? Future. Out of all phrases, Porsha decides to say, oh, it means you got a wrist full of diamonds, your diamonds are dancing. Dancing diamonds. Because we know the allegations, it's just so funny to me how she says that. If she doesn't want to be associated with him, or like they never dated, she doesn't know that man. Sorry, y'all, the sun is coming down, so I'm trying to like get this to focus. The fact of the matter is, you use that certain phrase. That man has a whole song called Diamonds Dancing. It is not a coincidence to me that she used that phrase. I think she just confirmed that she was messing around with Future. I thought it was a very interesting play on words. Out of all the words you could say, you could just say you got a wrist full of bracelets, diamonds, whatever. She said your diamonds are dancing. And I was just like, we know your diamonds are dancing. But no, that is just, what are the odds? You know what I mean? Like, that's just something you gotta really keep a lookout for. But, so Phaedra drops some tea. There is a rift going on between Brett and Kelly. And the ladies did notice because when Shamia was confronting Brett about her donation, Kelly was very quiet. In like, production does show like a flashback scene of like, normally they would be ride or dying for each other. Like, you know, they both butt into conversations. That's how their relationship is. That's how we know their relationship is. I did think Kelly was very quiet during Shamia confronting her, but I also think it's because Kelly is really getting cool with Shamia now, and like they really have a friendship. Remember when we first was introduced to this new group of ladies, Shamia brought on Kelly and Britt, and they were the friends, the joint pack, or duo. But Shamia knew both of them. So Shamia like falling out with Britt surely has an effect on Kelly. Because Kelly, first of all, wants to stay on Atlanta Housewives. Second of all, Kelly wants to be well liked. And Kelly is well liked. She is that girl. Out of the two, people would prefer to invite Kelly. Kelly is invited. Britt, she's not invited. Yes. So keep in mind, it's probably very difficult for Kelly to navigate that sort of issue because she's close to Shamia, and Shamia did bring her onto this platform. But I just think we have to like point that out too. Like, Shamia is supposed to be cool with both of them. So I'm sure Kelly's like, what? Like, I can't believe y'all are beefing now or whatever. So Phaedra drops the tea that apparently Kelly pulled her glam from Brett. And that's what the girls essentially are probably beefing about, is the glam. You guys know when you pull a glam from someone, you kind of want them to lose. You're like, I'm not liking you anymore. Why are you still using my glam? It is shocking that Kelly pulled her glam from Brett, her so-called friend. We're going to get more on that later. So, is this during this? Y'all, the OGs was just cracking up because Phaedra said that Britt got an inverted nipple. And Porsha was like, oh, like Cynthia's, lady part. And I just started dying. It was a good, wholesome scene. I also want to point out, there is something brewing between Phaedra and Angela, because Phaedra is constantly letting Angela catch a random stray. Like, she reminds her of an old school teacher, like a school teacher super strict. Phaedra definitely messed around with Charles or something, because she got some heat for Angela that is unwarranted. And it's just crazy to see, because it's like, what is your beef with her? We don't know the beef. We really don't. Let's get into Britt showing up at Kelly. Kelly is also feeling down at Kelly's. Kelly is also feeling down because she had a meeting with her attorney. She has another one. And this is kind of like they're trying to get divorced at this point. This is going to be the final coming meetings of getting divorced. So Kelly thinks that Britt can also be more in her purpose. She brought up the whole for Miami, when Britt opened up her agency and she got a BBL, she took all of her employees to get something they wanted, which is crazy to me. I still don't believe it. Like, where's the former employees? Did this happen? Can someone confirm this? And she's like, but then for you to donate that, and I'm so Britt and Kelly also had a conversation about her donation. Britt was like, don't make it seem like I'm a cheap B. Britt, if you have to question the size of your donation, maybe you should have given more. It is crazy to me, though, that Kelly and Shamia have both had conversations with Britt individually about her donation that was not shown to cameras, and it is shocking to me how they are now bringing it up for cameras. I don't care for Britt, but I will say that's kind of foul as my friends. Now y'all are bringing it up on camera. We already talked about it. I also want to know, did she give more? Did she give more to the donation? Because it seems as though they had a really difficult understanding. Like, how can you be out here living your life in a Birkin that the streets are saying it's from TJ Maxx, apparently? How are you comfortable, pulling up in a Birkin, rolling around in a Rolls Royce, and bragging about taking your employees to freaking Miami to get BBLs and stuff and whatever, but you're only donating $250 to a very serious charity? I understand what the girls are saying, but I don't understand how it's like y'all are already having these conversations off camera. So now it's like when it's on camera, I do agree with Brett. You're trying to force this narrative like I'm like this cheap person when it really isn't giving that. It really isn't. So I did think it was interesting. And then Britt in her confessional was like, well, let's get into the real reason why we're beefing. And it's like, you pulled your glam. And it's very interesting because we know Paris exclusively styled Britt for her Watch What Happens Live appearance, that raccoon look, which I love to hate it. And I kind of hate to love it. Like, it's kind of like eats, but then the more I look at it, I'm kind of like, oh, let me look at something else. Like, the look kind of ate, but the more you look at it, it didn't. Like, it's like when you stare at something, it's like something pretty kind of turns ugly. I don't know. So we know Paris and Britt are still exclusively working together. Paris used to work for Kelly. So Kelly made up a call. She gave her glam team an ultimatum. She's like, hey, you cannot keep working with Britt now. She did not think Britt would be using her glam team for this long. When you're on Housewives, you need a glam team. So I guess she gave some of them an ultimatum, and some of them are still working with Paris, which is why we saw Paris in the audience stuff. That's very interesting. But I'm like, Paris, how does it feel to be on a losing team? Because now Britt is suing Bravo. So it's like, your fashions aren't even going to be seen. Are you going to try to make it nice again now with Kelly? Because your fashions kind of went nowhere now. The looks are semi-iconic. Can't decide on the raccoon look. But, like, Britt can dress from her stylist. Like, I can tell when it's not a stylist. But your looks aren't going to have any trajectory in this reality TV space because you chose Britt, and now it's looking like Britt's the one, or Kelly's the one you probably should have picked. You should have probably stayed loyal to her. Oops. So that's very interesting to me. Yes, that's really interesting to me. It's kind of like a chess play. It's kind of like, I'm upset with you, I'm going to take my glam away from you. But I also think she's probably like, well, you can afford glam, which is like X amount of dollars, but you can't donate more than $250. I understand both scenarios, but I also feel for Britt because I'm like, if I'm having separate conversations with y'all not on camera, then you're bringing it up on camera to make it seem like I am this cheap person. It's clicking down. It's not giving best friend. And I do get that. Let's move on to Shamia and Kelly having matching swimsuits. What I want Kelly to do, and I like Kelly, I genuinely enjoyed her as a new time housewife. I enjoyed all of the ladies, Britt, flaws and all. I do think Kelly needs some sort of like independence. I feel like she just finds different people to kind of attach herself with, and then she fights their battles as well. Because this, in terms of this matching swimsuit scene, I'm like, why you guys gotta have matching swimsuits? It's giving like too much. But oh my gosh, don't you hate it when it's like that time of the month when all of your subscriptions are just hitting? And I'm just like, why is it all hitting? Like now, I hate it. Like everything is hitting. So yes, I just want Kelly to kind of find that independence because like Now you show up with matching swimsuits with Shamia. Drew comes over. You guys realize you did have a good time. You and Drew actually have a lot more in common. Y'all both have the same wedding anniversary, August 31st, I think they were saying. And it's like, you spent this whole season sneak dissing Drew when y'all both are for real going through the same stuff. They're both would have been married for 10 years and they're both going through a divorce. So I just wonder if Kelly's kind of like, I wonder if she has any regrets. I think she was a good first-time housewife, but I also think as a first-time housewife, you have to be very neutral. And I think that's how a lot of newbies shoot themselves in the foot, is not being neutral. Nneka, for example, from Potomac. People are still wanting her back. I personally don't want her back. But even Bozomo, St. John, Bose, though I give Bose a lot of crap because I was very confused with her dynamic with Sutton. I'm like, didn't Sutton bring you on the show and now you're like kind of like F you. Bose did do a good job at like hearing both sides and like making an effort eventually on both parties. You know what I mean? I still don't like who she chose, but I think she did a good job at that. And it's like Anna Marie, she came so hard at Crystal and was just doing the most. As a newbie, you really have to go low, fly under the radar, form opinions, observe. That's what I would do if I was a new-time housewife. That's just my 2 cents. But Kelly kind of, if it's not her and Britt, it was her and Shamia. And unfortunately, because Drew had a problem with both of them, I felt like she created a problem with Drew when it was like, you and Drew have the most probably in common on this cast, and you guys could have both been a leading or a supporting person for each other. You guys both could have given that support, and you guys could have both told your stories in a different way. That's the only thing I will say about Kelly. Okay, let's get into Jab Jab. Let's get into Jab Jab. That was mostly the episode, this highly anticipated celebration for Black former enslaved people in Grenada. Jab Jab is a huge celebration of life. It was something that a lot of masters and owners would say to enslaved African Americans in Grenada. They would say they were Jab Jab, and it was kind of this thing associated with devils. So, of course, because as Black people, we are known for not letting that type of stuff keep us down. We always know how to spin a narrative and take power of our narrative. So now Jab Jab in Grenada is a celebration, and it's not something that's kind of derogatory that was used. So now it is a celebration of life of the enslaved, and it's when everyone paints themselves in Black oil painting. So like, rest in peace to all your good stuff. Shamia tries to show up to Jab Jab in a Chanel hat and Chanel rain boots, and they're like, girl, we know you got money. What Phaedra say? We know you wealthy, but no amount of wealth should want your Black Chanel rain boots that were gorgeous, colored in Black oil, because Black oil you can't get out. It's not like it's just random Black paint. This is Black oil painting the bodies. They show up. The girls are exposed because it's like, you don't really want any of your clothes messed up. But I'm like, I could never have my A out all like that. But they're dancing, they're having a good time, they're eating, they're drinking. It was a good way to see Atlanta and celebration, and like celebration of Black life as well. A lot of history right there. And I don't know, it was just very fun to see. And it was just crazy to me how like Phaedra has come a long way. Phaedra has came on this show as like a church woman, a Christian, a married woman, not a prude. Phaedra's never been a prude. She's always been very open with sex, which is always like such a oxymoron to me, because I'm like, she is literally this Christian woman with a pastor mom, or pastor dad or whatever, first lady pastor or whatever, and she's always been really open about sex. Like, even that's what her and Candy really bonded over. But then you get her in this other instance saying she's ready for a menage a trois, and I'm like, since when? And she's getting picked up. And I don't know, I went to a PWI, but you're just not supposed to get picked up by nobody, especially no fraternities. So the fact that she getting picked up and tossed around and like delivered on a plate, I was just like, Phaedra. But she had a good time. You got Porsha twerking on this man, backing it up. Porsha's butt is huge. I mean, it's good, but it's huge. It's a huge butt. I'm always, did she get butt shots? Like, it looks natural, but I'm always like, the way her stomach is so flat and it's just like butt. I don't know if she got shots. I don't know. I mean, it's a nice shot job though. It's a good shot job. She twerking. Cynthia's like, I don't think I could be doing this when I got a man at home. Is his name Amsterdam? Or is he from Amsterdam? I don't know if her man's name is Amsterdam, but it says on the phone Amsterdam. I don't know. The ladies, they had a good time at Jab Jab. It was a good way to close the trip. That was probably a really fun trip for everyone. I think we got a chance to see like different groups bond. We got a chance to see this person do this with this other person. It was a good trip to welcome back the Sweet 16. Would have loved to see Kenya there, but it was a good trip. I think as the show closes, I think we got 2 more episodes. I'm shocked the next episode isn't the season finale. So we definitely got 2 because they would have said next time on the season finale. I cannot believe that we have 3 more, maybe 2. I just think it's been a very good season. And people like to say it hasn't been a good season or it wasn't a good season. I think it was a really good season. Kenya and all, I hope Kenya comes back. We don't know what the future of Atlanta is right now because Brit's like ongoing lawsuit. We really don't know what's going on. But I think it was a really good season. I really do. But I want to get into Bravo's Love Hotel. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. Let's get into Bravo's Love Hotel. That was the season finale. Do y'all think it's going to be back? I think it's going to be back with a different set of women. I hope they can find better men. But the reality of finding eligible men that want to be on reality TV is very slim. Let's talk a little bit about this finale or whatever. So we're getting a press play on what happened between Earl and Shannon, and I just don't think they are right for each other. I think Shannon nitpicks a lot. I think Earl, because of that nitpicking, has become also super critical of her, not blaming it on her. But like I said, I've said this in a previous episode of mine. At what point, Shannon, do you just go, maybe I shouldn't be in a relationship? Because as far as I know, Shannon apparently is always in a relationship. And I'm just like, at what point should we be like, maybe I should not be in a relationship? I feel like it's very soon. I feel like she was super critical. If we're talking about the overall season as a whole, I think she closed off super early in my Love Island USA terms. I also need to start watching Love Island UK. I might start talking about UK. The real tea is why I want to talk about USA is because I'm still hoping to get casted on there. Like in the future in my Sheena voice, but maybe not. That's the reason I really want to talk about it, unless I'm tweeting. But I think they closed it off way too early, her and Earl. I think Earl didn't get a chance to know the other women, even though I don't see any of the other women being nearly interested in him. And I don't think Shannon gave that other guy a chance, like, at all. But it's like you complain about Earl not eating his vegetables, all of this stuff. Girl, you're not even giving other man a chance. So that's what went wrong between them, in my personal opinion. I'm weak. That is funny. I just got something. What was I gonna say? What was I? Oh my gosh, my phone is just going off, y'all. I'm so sidetracked. Okay, let me finish this out because it's just so much going on right now. Yeah, they closed it off way too early. Like way too early. And then it's like you are shocked when it doesn't work. But I think when you move that fast in a short amount of time, your relationship is destined to not go anywhere. And that's just from not experience, just watching it on reality TV. I'm just like, oh, it's not gonna work out. Oh, I'm right, it's probably not gonna work out. What else happened? So the ladies are preparing for their overnight dates. Giselle is not comfortable with that. She does not want an overnight date. Shannon is still thinking about if she should do one with Earl. The way they were able to hash that out so fast after Earl completely lied on Shannon is beyond me, and she forgave him. But that's why I'm like, Shannon, I know she's done a lot of work over the years, but I still think inside of her is that little insecure girl that got cheated on. And so it's like you kind of accept the bare minimum. That apology would not have been enough for me. The way he was lashing out about where she needs to know, or like she needs to know where the freaking tornado is literally crazy to me. I'm just like, if you tell me the tornado's not touching near your home, we're good. I'm not about to be following it. What do I look like? A weather reporter? Like, what do I look like? The fact that he was able to spin the whole narrative and say that she was not genuinely there for him, I'm just like, dude, what is going on? So then Ashley so the ladies are selecting their overnight dates. Giselle works out a deal with Joelle. She's like, hey, I don't want to say goodbye to this man. I don't want to say goodbye to this man. Can we split up my dates in two? So they do that. She doesn't do it overnight, but she does have a night date with Theo. Yes, with Theo. But Ashley selects Wale because she knows if she does not select Wale, he is going to check himself out of the hotel. And I'm not shocked about that. I think Wale's like, he cannot believe he's competing with a 60-year-old white man. Like, for this girl. He cannot believe it. Believe it. You gotta watch Ashley. Luann, of course, selects James. No shocker there. And then, yeah, Shannon and Earl. I don't know. They did do a date, but I don't know. I can't remember if he stayed the night. I was watching it in and out. So, Giselle. So, let's get to the ladies' picks or like their dates, how their dates went. The dates went fine. Shannon and Earl, they're still trying to warm up to each other, and I literally wrote this. They are also on my toxic, but it's Tuesday list because they're just toxic. Why the heck would you even want to continue with overnight date after the stuff he just did? That's why I'm just like, Shannon really clicked down for me. A lot of people aren't gonna like this, but Joelle wasn't completely wrong what he was saying about Shannon. I think he said a lot of real stuff, and people just hate it because he came for the queen of OC, apparently. I don't watch OC, but I don't think Joel was wrong when they were having their whole beef or whatever. So Giselle chooses, let's get to who the ladies choose. The date vibes. I was hoping Giselle was going to choose Theo, just like I was hoping Ashley was going to choose Wale. Giselle did choose Theo. I'm glad she did choose him. I think they just worked out better because, you know, he has kids, and Giselle even talks about how she still wants to be needed as a mom because her kids are in that stage where like they're off to college, going to be off to bigger, better things. And it's kind of like they don't really you always need your mom, but it's like she's empty nesting. So she would like to be with someone that's like, they're older and it's like she could still step in if they need to. Like she loves kids. Giselle loves kids. She loves being around in that mom role. So I'm glad she chose Theo. Never saw it for Phil. I also think it was a red flag that Phil did not tell her that he knew Cynthia and Mike. And then it's like, do you know Mike because of Cynthia, or do you know Mike? Or do you know Cynthia because of Mike? Like, it was just where he was like, Cynthia's been in my house. I think that was a red flag. But the money was endless. I think that's why I also thought Giselle was going to pick him, because the money supply was endless. Luann, of course, and her and James choose to check out the hotel together. Not shocked with that. I think when you're at that age too, you're kind of just like, YOLO, let's see what happens. And also is like, they don't need anything too serious. Luann is constantly traveling for the cabaret. I did see the cabaret show, which was amazing. Shannon checks out with Earl. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I think Shannon has a fear of being alone. And then Ashley, drumroll, picks Ralph. I wasn't shocked with that. Let's get to these end cards to wrap up the show, how they wrapped it up. But Wale parted very peacefully. He was like, it's fine. I think he knew. Wale is very successful, but he still wants kids and stuff. Ashley wanted to be with someone. They already had kids. She wanted to be with someone that could fix her daddy issues. But she has an issue. Ashley has an issue. So let's get to these end cards, because my jaw was on the floor. So Giselle and Theo were supposed to meet up in New York for Halloween. She's going to go see him. They had plans, and his phone all of a sudden stopped working. He lost his phone. He lost his phone. I would like to hear more about that. Maybe that's why I should have watched Watch Happens Live. He lost his phone apparently. So she is still in contact with Phil and she has plans to meet up with him in Bel Air, all of that stuff. That is shocking to me that all of a sudden he lost his phone when they had plans. It's giving I didn't want to see you. I'm shocked this went this far. Okay, so Shannon and Earl, they broke up, not shocked. So she did go to Georgia to visit him. He went to OC to visit her. And oh my gosh, guys, I just got a notification from Netflix. The America's Sweetheart Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders season 2 tomorrow, I think. I'm gonna watch that. I love the season 1. But yeah, Shannon and Earl did not work out. She figured out he was not the one for her. I think anyone with eyes could tell her that wasn't the man for you. Ashley and Ralph did not last at all. It fizzled out very quickly after the show, so it was giving he just wanted some clout. And Wale and her are still in communication, which I find very interesting. I also think Ashley kind of regretted her decision as soon as she made it, because she was already second guessing choosing Ralph. But Ashley's so blinded by money signs and security and like wanting someone for her kids that it's like you could have really had that in an unconventional way. And she's just so blinded with fixing her daddy issues and like wanting to marry or be with these old men. It's just so weird to me. And then Luann and James are still going strong. And this is why I wish I did watch Happens Live, if anything, because what was I saying? Gosh, if anything, I'm not shocked that Luann and James lasted at all. I just feel like it worked. I feel like they have a very fun, lighthearted relationship. I feel like it doesn't have to be serious. And from the end card, it just seems as though it's a very light relationship. But that's why I wish I watched Watch Happens Live. What I did gather from a clip from Watch Happens Live is that Joel knows Mark Delgado, Ugly Betty, about the most overrated housewife being Kyle Richards. I feel vindicated because I also feel like it's Kyle Richards. I feel like she's the most overrated housewife of eternity. She don't bring nothing but that long hair. And sometimes that's not even styled correctly. The last reunion, it wasn't. But that was Bravo's Love Hotel. So I've been thinking about my perfect cast for season 4 of Bravo's Love Hotel. And I'm still keeping it in the housewife dimension. So I really had to think about this. And I want to share who's my top 4 for next season. Okay, my dream cast for Bravo Love Hotel. Give me one person, Bravo, just one person, maybe 2. Heather Gay, Salt Lake City. I want to see Heather Gay flirt. We saw it a little bit her first season with Jen Shah's like friend of or whatever. We saw it a little bit. I want to see Heather Gay in a romantic setting. Okay, Atlanta, Phaedra Parks. She was already on Ultimate Girls Trip. She was already on Traders, and now she Married to Medicine, Atlanta. Let's see her in a romantic vibe. You know, she's in this fun aspect of her life as well, and I would love to see Phaedra dating someone. That is my bid for Phaedra Parks. If you cannot do Phaedra Parks, I'm going to sub someone else from former ATL days, Eva Marcel or Claudia Jordan. I think those would be 2 good picks, but my first would be Phaedra Parks. Okay, NYC, Sonia Morgan. I honestly wanted to put Ramona Singer down, but she is done with Bravo. The way she has totally no self-awareness for what's going on in this world, she is totally done. But Ramona would have been a good pick. However, I'm subbing in Sonia Morgan because Sonia will also be a good pick. Sonia also, the New York ladies know how to let loose and have fun. And Sonia would also be looking like Luann to get screwed. Finally, my last pick, and I really want this to happen, Sutton Strack from Beverly Hills. Sutton Strack has remained very open about her dating, those fake dates or whatever, the guys she's dated. And I think I would like to see Sutton uncomfortable and flirting again. And I think Sutton would be a really good pick. So that's my list. Phaedra Parks, Heather Gay, Sonia Morgan, and freaking, why did I just forget? Sonia Morgan and Sutton Stracke. Oh my gosh, I just forgot. But we got a lot of single housewife ladies. And then there's, of course, single in the non-housewife atmosphere. But let's stick to, I think Bravo's Love Hotel should stick to housewives at this point. Thank you so much for listening to What the Reality with me, Kasha Roberts. Until the next time, if you guys are watching on YouTube, bye. I will see you Friday episode. And if you were tuned into the podcast, don't forget to give me a 5-star rating, comment, and follow the podcast so you are updated when I do my shows. I drop them pretty early in the morning so you can start your binge while you're working out or eating breakfast or whatever. Make sure you follow the show. Thank you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, of course, subscribe. I will see you guys later. Bye. Period. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, What the Reality with me, Kasha Roberts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Let me know what I should be doing. Let me know how I'm doing. All compliments are welcome. Until the next time.